What up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it is Eagle Eye, the transfer rumor show where I talk to you about rumors and news surrounding the Arsenal. I hope you guys are all well. I hope you guys have had a good Tuesday, or still having a good Tuesday. For you, you Americans are usually the last on the time scale, so I hope you guys are well. Do me a favor, please do stick a big like on this video. It always helps the show get noticed. Please do that. As always, the super chats are open. Feel free to do what you're doing. I hope you guys are all well. I'm going to go through some stories. I'm not going to keep you guys too long. We're going to look to try and wrap this up in the next 45 minutes. I'm going to be nice and strict to myself. So at 8 o'clock, we're going to cut dead and wrap this up. But yeah, I hope you guys are well. Let's get through the stories. Let's talk about Mr. Hector Bellerin. Oh man, Hector Bellerin. Oh gosh, how do we do this? How do we go through this story keeping a straight face? Now, to be fair, I'm going to report the initial story, but I'm also going to talk about counter stories I've heard today that counter this. Because in spite of the way I feel about Hector Bellerin, it's important to add some balance to these stories. All right, so let me talk about the initial story. So this is a story that kind of woke me up through Sky Germany. So I've got, doing transfer rumor shows, I've got all kinds of things and alerts that come to my phone. And one of this was a big rumor from Germany, Sky Germany in particular, saying that Hector Bellerin wants to leave Arsenal. And that should he leave, Bayern Munich, of all people, are very interested in taking him on. Obviously, he's 25 years old. I'm going to repeat that. He's 25 years old. I'm repeating it because I think people have this idea sometimes when you talk about Hector Bellerin that he's actually younger than he is. Nope. He's not 22. He's not 23. He's 25 years old. I want that to really process in your minds as we go through the story. And he's getting to the point where he just feels that he wants to leave. Just to add some substance to this story, one of the reasons that he apparently wants to leave is that he's just sick of the abuse from Arsenal fans online. And listen, I don't condone that. I've hated some players. You've never seen me go to their and start abusing it. It's just not my style. You know, it's not my style. I ain't about that life. It ain't personally, it's not my style, you know? And he's at the point now where he just feels as though he'd rather just leave this all behind and leave. And to be honest, from that perspective, again, forget the way I feel about him. It's just important to add some balance to this whole thing. From that perspective, I don't blame him. In all honesty, I don't blame him. The man shouldn't be abused because he's a crap player. Let's just call a spade a spade. Just because you're a crap player, it doesn't mean that, you know, you should be abused. In terms of Hector Bellerin and his history with internet audiences, he's not really endeared himself to internet audiences. You know, I think everybody remembers the infamous interview he gave at Oxford University 2 years ago, where he was banging on about AFTV in particular, and the fact that, you know, he believes that where he was banging about AFTV in particular, and the fact that he feels as though, you know, they don't represent real Arsenal fans. You can make a big argument that the people who hate AFTV today have stemmed from that particular interview. I'm sure there were haters prior to that, but I would imagine how voracious they've come over the last couple of years, as I would argue, has come from that interview. So there's always been a lot of tension between fans on the internet, like myself, who, let's be real, has a platform on the internet. I have never abused a single player in my life to their Twitter handles. I say what I say on my own platform, but I will never necessarily go to their Twitter handles and start abusing them or threatening their family. I certainly have never threatened his family on this platform, and the day I do, I'm sure YouTube will be on my ass. So for me, I don't condone that. At the same time, from my perspective, bro, if you want to go, just let me know how much the fare is. I'm sure I can have a whip round. Just the minute you want to go, just let us know. Let us know. We'll have a whip round. We'll pay for the flight. Because, bro, in my opinion, I think he's regressed as a player. Regressed as a player. I'd like to remind you at this point in time, he's 25 years old. I remember when he burst out on the scene and we saw this prospect of someone with speed and, dare I say, it almost looked dynamic, and he could never cross the ball. But we kind of thought to himself, all right, well, he's got some pace. He comes from Barcelona schooling. We'd just seen what Barcelona schooling had done with Cesc. So we were hoping that Hector would be in the next stage of that. So we kind of thought to himself, all right, let's see where we go with Hector Bellerin. And then there was a point when he kind of turned 2021, when I thought, okay, maybe he's going to be about something. Like, he kind of reminded me a little bit, early stages, Hector Bellerin kind of reminded me a little bit of Hakimi, where we weren't going to necessarily get a good defensive right back, but going forward, he was going to start offering us stuff. He was going to start picking options. His pace was going to be so good, and he would beat so many players that actually he'd offer a secondary threat on that right-hand side. And we just thought to himself, flip blimey, if he's displaying this sort of potential at 21 years old, imagine what he would display at 25 years old. So at this point, I'd like to remind you once again, Hector Bellerin in 2020 is 25 years old. And then I think it was when he was 22, he got the first of two really bad knee injuries. The first one didn't hamper him so much. I think he was out for 6 months. I could be wrong length of times, guys. Forgive me, I'm getting old. But he'd suffered two. The most recent one I'm not going to talk about just yet, but the first one I'll talk about, and it hampered him a little bit. But generally, it took the edge off his pace a little bit, and he started to second guess himself more, particularly in tackles, I noticed. But he started to work his way back into some sort of decent form. And I thought to myself, all right, well, bad injuries could do that. Maybe. And I just started to get the hint that people were starting to doubt him. But I still thought, okay, maybe he'll kick on and he'll do something. He'll be about something. You know, maybe. Just maybe. And then there were a lot of rumors that around that time that Barcelona wanted him. And in my mind, I was kind of like, believe it or not, there was once upon a time, I was kind of like, Barcelona, piss off and stop bothering our players. We don't want to sell Hector Bellerin. Yep, that actually went through my mouth one time. That actually once, unbelievably, went through my mind at one time. Because I kept thinking, all right, if he gets back on track, maybe, just maybe, he'll kick on and be about something. I kept having this fixation of 25 years old. This guy will kick on when he's 25 years old and become something. So at this point, I'd like to remind you, Hector Bellerin is now 25 years old. And then 2 years ago, he did this inexplicable Oxford Uni interview. He was off the back of some dodgy form. He'd had a lot of criticism. I can't remember specifically who at AFTV went at him at the time. And then obviously the infamous video from Lee on the Gunner Bang channel. I am positive. absolutely positive someone in Hector Bellerin's camp knew who he was. It was around this time that Lee invented the infamous name for him, which was Zoolander, because we started seeing Hector do some odd stuff with his clothing and wearing earrings and stuff. But in my mind, I didn't really care what he was wearing. Gives a damn. I could not care less if he was wearing dresses, sarongs. Just do your job on the pitch. I don't care what you're doing. Do your job on the pitch. I don't care what you look like. Footballers are weird. So do your thing. Just do your job on the pitch. That's it. Couldn't care less. That was the way, that was my attitude, because I was just starting now. I was around this period of time 2 years ago where I'm losing my patience with Hector Bellerin. Like, so I was not really defending him, but whenever somebody kept going in an argument like, have you seen what Hector's wearing now? My mind, I was kind of like, I don't give a damn what he's wearing. I just want the boy to do the job on the pitch. And then he suffered this bad injury about 18 months ago. And it kept him out for a little less than a year. And then ever since then, he kind of worked his way back to fitness. And now he looks slower. It doesn't look anything like he was. Pace-wise, nothing like he was. He looks scared to go into tackles. Psychologically, it can do that for you, especially if you've had a bad injury. He could never cross the ball, so I'm not going to start criticizing him as something he'd never been able to do. But he used to be able to be a guy that used to go past the right winger and offer that option. Someone like Pepe could have really used him. You'd have thought, especially he would have used old Hector very, very well, because old Hector used to just bomb on and offer that extra option. And slowly but surely, the man looks like an aging right back. I suppose he is. But it's this final time, I'm going to remind you, Hector is 25 years old. I'd like to honestly ask you guys at this time, genuinely, regardless of if you like me, you don't. You think I'm being harsh or you don't. Is Hector Bellerin a better player than he was 5 years ago? 6 years ago? Be honest with yourself. Don't need to share it with the group. Be honest with yourself. I personally don't. I don't think he's a better player. I think the guy's lost his pace. He can't cross. He can't tackle. Other than being mildly good looking, I don't really understand what he offers. What does he offer? So, all right, he can be our next model for kits. That's the only thing he can offer. I genuinely don't understand. I don't get it. For me, people will still defend him because they see him as our Cockney Spanish geezer. Other than that, I genuinely don't know what he offers. I'm racking my brain. You know, even with players I don't rate, with Mustafi, for example. You guys know I don't rate Mustafi. I've hated Mustafi since the moment he stepped through the Arsenal doors, right? I at least can see, kind of, sort of, what someone might potentially like in Mustafi. Even I'd be arrogant to say otherwise, right? I don't rate Granit Xhaka. You guys know this. I would be arrogant to say I don't know what someone sees in Granit Xhaka. With Hector Bellerin, football ability wise, forget sentiment. Arsenal fans love their sentiment. Forget it. Just put it to the side for a second. What does this guy offer that another right back can't? Let's be real. Debussy was better than him. Let's cold facts a day. Debussy was better than him. Cold facts a day. I always thought to myself, Debussy was harshly treated. Because for me, he was a much better right back than Hector Bellerin. every single day of the week. He was harshly treated. Every single day of the week, he was a much better right back than Hector Bellerin, but never got a look in. Never got a look in. He, to me, is just someone that has come up through the Arsenal ranks via Barcelona, and that's why people can't seem to let go of that tie. But in my opinion, and this is genuinely my opinion, this is not me trying to be nasty. This is me just being confused as to I don't understand why certain Arsenal fans are holding on to this tie so badly. What does this boy offer that another right back can't? I don't particularly rate Cedric Suarez like you lot. But let me tell you something. I bet you any money he's better than Hector Bellerin. Any money whatsoever is better than Hector Bellerin. What does he offer that another right back can't? What can this kid do? What can Bellerin do that, say, a Max Aarons can't? And I don't think Max Aarons is anywhere near the finished product like you lot are. I think he's a raw talent. But let me tell you something. That guy, I guarantee, is a better right back than Hector Bellerin. 100%. So from my perspective, honestly, from my perspective, if he wants to go, roll out the red carpet, we'll do a whip around in our chat room, and let's see if we can raise the money to get this geezer a flight back to Germany, to Spain, wherever it is he wants to go to finish the rest of his career in peace. Now, to offer some balance, I don't know how true this story is, because it was today I saw two further bits of evidence that made me question how much he wants to leave. I saw one story today talking about the fact that he's determined to take the knowledge that he's learned from Arteta and become a role model for Arsenal youngsters. Like he's really determined to take this mantle. My man is making a real bid to become Arsenal captain. He really, I mean, he's saying the sort of stuff that certain sentimental Arsenal fans want to hear. That he wants to be a role model and he thinks he can do that. You know, he wants players to be able to come up like him and be able to live their life like him. And he believes that not enough in football has been done to support younger players. Hell, he says all the right stuff. This is why I ain't gonna lie to you. This is why I'm a bit skeptical whenever Mikel Arteta starts speaking, because he speaks like that. He's very good at saying the right stuff. Very good at saying the right stuff. It's the follow through I'm worried about. So, from my perspective, if he decides he wants to leave, whilst I agree with him, I think it's some BS. I mean, he was talking today about the fact that more should be done for social media abuse. I 1000% co-sign that. Like these motherfuckers should be arrested. Straight up. Arrested. Like, I think it's an old school way of thinking to say, oh, well, if we make people sign up using passports and driving license, it will affect the growth of social media. That is some BS. There is no chance that someone who genuinely wants a social media account will refuse to put their information online. Unless you have some wrong intentions, there is no reason it should affect you putting your information online. That's the only way you stop that. YouTube should do it. Yep, YouTube, you guys who are inevitably going to listen to this, YouTube should do it. Twitter should do it. Insta should do it. You should make people sign up with their own personal information so that when we report these guys to you and you can see evidence that they've abused, that these people have abused. I'm going to say us because I've had it. I've had it racially as well. Then you can do something about it. Don't give us some spiel about, oh, we'll look into it, and then you never hear from them again. Which is, no offense, YouTube, that's what you guys do. So I don't disagree with him for that. But at the same time, bruh, if you want to leave Arsenal, see ya. Adios. What do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the chat room. Leave it in the comments below. You guys have been great with the interaction lately in the comments. Make sure you keep that up. As with the likes, please drill that like button. Like squad, that is your job. Make sure you jump on that. Jump on that likes. Drive it through the roof as we continue to go through these stories. Obviously, that was the lead story I'm going to talk about, but it doesn't mean that we're going to stop talking about certain stories. I'm going to give my quick opinion on the rest of these stories, so make sure that you continue to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Sorry, I've just seen an addition to the Bellerin story. Apparently, he's also being linked with Atletico Madrid. Bro, if there is not an obvious move to be made there, what do you mean? Oh, so if you want Hector, give us Thomas Partey. What do you mean? I didn't even know that was a thing. Please do that. Please do that. Please do that. Anyway, it is what it is. You guys let me know what you think. Again, leave it in the comments below. Let me just check something very, very quickly. That is my community post, because that's what the stories I'm going to be concentrating on. So if you haven't had a chance to look at my community posts, please do check it out, but I'm going to go through it anyway. Arsenal are being linked with the new N'Golo Kante. Don't you just hate it when they say new anything? Put so much pressure on the kid. Arsenal are being linked with defensive midfielder Ibrahim Diallo. Diallo is probably how you say it. Diallo, who plays for. Who does he play for? Ready to rival Seville. Oh, he plays for French club Brest. Yep, believe it or not, that is the name of the team. French club Brest. He's 21 years old, and the price they're talking about is £20 million. Now, before you guys start rolling your eyes thinking, oh, who the heck is this geezer? You didn't even know the name of the club. I'd like to point out one thing that makes me very interested in this kid. Leicester are very, very interested in this kid. So much so that they tried to make a play for him in January. Now, we know Leicester like finding talent. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Because we are useless at finding talent, all we need to do is just wait to see who Leicester move for. I'd move for the same guys. Leicester tried to make a bid for this guy in January for 16 million. It was turned down. Everton and Nice have also made recent inquiries, as have Seville, who are said to be the major rivals to Arsenal in this player. I guess my only concern about this is if we were to get him, surely that then torpedoes any chance of getting Thomas Partey. But this guy is a specialized defensive midfielder, whereas Partey is more of a midfielder. But what Arsenal have done apparently is that Arsenal have been asked to be kept informed of any developments, i.e., let them know if anyone makes a bid, let them know so they have an opportunity to match the offer. And there's a belief that Diallo himself is very interested in a move to Arsenal. So it's very possible that something could be done here. The player does have 3 years left on his contract. So you would imagine that he will be cost, if not 20 million, it'll be very, very close. But what do you guys think? Does anyone else know more about this player? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Let's keep going. According to reports today emanating from Portugal, Arsenal are being linked with a player called Rafa Silva from Benfica. He just turned 27 years old. When I say just, he turned 27 years old on Sunday. And the player himself, again, is very, very interested in a move to London. He believes that, obviously, at this stage of his career, just like anyone who's 27, that he could get himself the best possible contract of his career. And he sees that an Arsenal may be able to do that. The name of the paper is Correo de Manha. Correo de Manha. Probably butchered that name, but that is the name of the newspaper. And apparently Benfica themselves are known to, they know that Arsenal are very interested in this player. The winger himself has scored 9 goals, 6 assists in 25 appearances this season. My only personal belief is that, no thanks. If this was stats from a 20-year-old player, I'd be more keen. A 27-year-old player I ain't really heard of playing in a Portuguese league. I think someone said this in the comments of this post. Actually, you do worry about how good he possibly is, and I feel like he ain't going to be that good. He is only set to cost 15 million, but in my mind, I'm like, nah. We have limited funds as it is. Let's use that elsewhere, particularly in securing a midfielder and a defender first, before you then start potentially considering other places in the team to look at. But what do you guys think? Does anyone else know about this guy, Rafa Silva from Benfica? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Some worrying news from a target that I know a lot of us were hoping that Arsenal make a move for. Le 10 Sport. Now, admittedly, they're not always the most reliable, Le 10 Sport, French publication, have claimed that Borussia Dortmund are in talks to sign Odsonne Edouard this summer, as they are looking for a long-term replacement for Haaland, who's obviously strongly being linked with every single top European club in the world. Edouard is 22 years old. Obviously, he's been in amazing form for Celtic this season. I believe that the Scottish leagues are in talks to discuss whether or not to cancel the season. Obviously, if the season's cancelled, then him and his agent, I guess, are free to plan his future. Edouard Odsonne, just to give you an idea. Sorry, Odsonne Edouard. Keep butchering his first name. Has scored 27 goals in 46 games and 19 assists. Jeez. Gosh damn, this guy is active. Celtic are keen to keep Edouard for obvious reasons, but it's clear to many that he's outgrown the hoops. You got to admit, this would be the guy. If Aubameyang is to go, quite frankly, if Lacazette is to go, what a heck of an upgrade potentially you get in an Edouard. Now, before someone says, whoa, how do you know it's an upgrade on Lacazette? Now, for me, regardless of what you want to say about Lacazette, and I heard Lee today, that stat that Lee read on his channel today was information that we were talking about in our group chat. But I must admit, it stunned me hearing that Lacazette hadn't scored an away goal against a non-relegated team since 2018. I was stunned to hear that. Absolutely stunned to hear that. So, with that notwithstanding, I have never heard Lacazette's Lyon stats say he scored 27 goals and laying on 19 assists. Now, I know the Scottish League is poor. I don't think the French League is a world away from what that standard is, though. So I think for me, bear in mind, this kid has also played in the French league. That's right, Omar. This kid. Omar would know what I mean when I say that. So for me personally, we've got to do what we got. It's difficult because you don't know. Arsenal are in a situation where they don't know, like what Aubameyang is doing. They don't know. Meanwhile, this guy is kind of slipping away, and you're thinking to yourself, "Well, we kind of need to move quickly." Personally, I would have sold Lacazette quickly and bring this geezer in, just in case Aubameyang then decides to go. Or what do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. This is, I suppose, a story I should have talked about second, but I completely forgot about it, to be honest. So a signing that Arsenal are supposedly very close to, being quite widely reported this, is that Arsenal are very close to completing the move for Orkun Kokcu, who's obviously the attacking midfielder we've been linked with for a long time, that stems from Feyenoord. He is a player who reminds people a lot of Mesut Ozil. God, I hope not. Purely because I think he's Turkish and plays in the exact same position. He's young now, 22 years old. Showing some decent talent. He's not got amazing statistics, but I get the feeling from a lot of people who've watched him quite closely is he works a lot harder than a Mesut Ozil. And the potential is there. Whether or not he'll fulfill that potential is another question. That being said, he's been linked with a lot of decent teams. Chelsea want him, Sevilla want him, Valencia want him, Real Betis want him. So we can't be talking about a poor player. And arguably, we do need someone who can potentially step in and replace him Mesut Ozil. And if there's one thing that Mesut Ozil could serve left, is that at least Mesut could at least take this kid by the, under his wing and say, all right, let me show you some ropes here. Now, I know a lot of people panic by that, but one thing I will say at the very least is that the man's Turkish, so I think Mesut Ozil will adopt a big brother kind of feeling with him, and that will help him settle. That's the one benefit I do see out of that particular relationship. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Arsenal are prepared apparently to pay up to 25 million to secure this signing, and it's part of Arteta's, young revolution. He's the first piece to that young revolution. So we'll see what happens. Okay, I think that is pretty much all the things I was going to talk about. We've got 13 minutes of chit chat before I get out of here. So what do you let me know what you guys want to talk about? Quick questions, no arguing with each other like you lot like to do. Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Just quick plugs before I know a couple of you get up out of here. I'll be back again tomorrow on this channel. The combat show every single Friday. I did see him pop in here earlier. My co-host Ola, Ola, and Will do a show on boxing and MMA every single Friday. The combat show. It's not on this channel, but if you go and look in the link, it should say the combat show and then a link to that channel. So make sure you click on that link and subscribe. Numbers are slowly creeping up for that, so that's great. So make sure you do that. Chick Flicks, I've just recorded something for Chick Flicks, which is a review on it's a review essentially on The Last Dance. Gosh, I forgot the name of the program, which is the Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix. Excellent documentary. Excellent. I'm going to break it down a little bit, give my thoughts on it. Make sure you check that out. That will be dropping sometime tonight on the channel. So check that out. Again, link into the description is below. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and I'll also be setting up my membership. That'll be for this weekend. But sometime between now and Friday, I'll be dropping 2 free things prior to the membership setting up. That will be Cooking with Chig episode. Make sure you check that out. And also one stream on FIFA. So make sure you check that out. Where I've started the season. I'm going to give you an idea of where we are already. I've purposely stopped playing so I can play the rest out for you guys. And yeah, we're going to take Arsenal through this thing. At the moment, I'm second in the league, but I am about 5 points off Man City. So it's about the chase to Man City. So we'll see what we can do. But you should see my team. If you've not seen it already, I got some decent players. And you gosh down right, I got Partey. So yeah, make sure you check that out. So Taib, I've answered your question there. All right, let's go into the chat and see what you lot are saying. Chelsea, Arsenal have never been on a level to Ajax to compete with kids, especially in the Prem. Sounds like a horrible idea to be linked with so many. I don't mind. For me personally, I as always, Chelsea, we disagree slightly. I don't mind the idea personally of bringing down our overall edge when it comes to building a team. So I don't mind the idea that we're trying to long term replace Mesut Ozil. I don't mind the idea that we're trying to bring in a defensive midfielder who's quite young. I agree. I don't think we should compare these youngsters to current players. I think, for me, apart from anything, you always put so much pressure on the guy when you do that. Let's just see how the kid performs. You know, if he's got anything close to what Kante has, great. But let's not call him the next Kante, for flip's sake. But yeah, I feel like bringing in some youngsters would be good for the team. But I also like the idea of matching those youngsters with some experience. And that's why I'm so keen, even if we get that defensive midfielder, let's still go and get a Partey who, yeah, all right, let's forget the fact that I badly want him to play for Arsenal. He's experienced, he's 26, he's a player for now, you know? And I think if you could get that balance right, we might do something next season. But we have to have a big summer. And it's such a shame that that has coincided with this pandemic, because you've got to think that we're not going to do anything close to what we would have ordinarily tried to do. So, yeah, let's see. Let's see. One thing I did talk about yesterday was the fact that UEFA have relaxed the rules on being self-sufficient and understanding that clubs need to adjust certain things. So they have chilled with that. So we'll see what happens. Out of all the younger players coming through, who do you think will make it? Specify for me, Joanne. Specify for me, and I'll answer that question. I like Football Manager, but I'm not playing this year's one now because next year's one will drop in like a month or so. But yes, I agree. Football Manager for me is a better game for me. I agree. Any cooking streams? Tyrone, is it he alone from Dortmund? Who is that? Tyrone, that's completely false. Edouard was in PSG's youth team. Then Celtic bought him to play with Moussa Dembele for one season before. I wouldn't test Ben's knowledge. I will say that, guys. If Ben is saying it, it's probably correct. Just so you guys know. Who's a Nigerian striker at Lille? Osherman. I'll be honest with you, Truth. Bear in mind he's Nigerian. I was trying to remember his name earlier, and I completely had a brain fart. But it does happen to the best of us. Chig, Hudson Odoi training with the lads in Colburn. Opinions, bro. Well, brother, for me, he is innocent until proven guilty. I said this yesterday. Just because he's been arrested doesn't mean the guy has done anything wrong necessarily. We don't know what happened. We don't know the details. That's why I was very careful yesterday about what I was saying, because we don't know. We don't know. So yeah, until he's actually been proven, it's like, all right. Let me look at this. Let me explain that to you from a HR perspective. If one of our employees got arrested and then was released on bail, yes, we would need them to tell us, but we wouldn't do anything until he's been charged. So he's innocent until proven guilty. Chig, which youngsters impressed you the most from the ones that we've been linked with? Oh, Sangara for me. Sangara is 22, so that counts. Sangara from Toulouse would be my ideal defensive midfielder choice. I'd still buy Partey. I was thinking about this earlier. For me, if in an ideal world, I'd get rid of Granit Xhaka, I'd get rid of Guendouzi, I'd get rid of Torreira, scrap our entire central midfield, bring in a defensive midfielder, bring in Partey, and then go and get someone like a Dominic Szoboszlai. Go and get him. Because that's, by the way, that's another youngster that I think is very, very good. Abour, who's 20 years old, very, very, 21 years old, very, very good. Szoboszlai is 19, excellent technical player. Those are three players I would love us to have. Hakimi, 21 years old, excellent player. If you didn't have a chance to watch him on the weekend, defensively, he's not amazing or anything, but going forward, shit. His decision making is so good. So good. All right, 4 more minutes. I'm out of here, guys. Get my attention. 4 more minutes. Edouard was on loan at Toulouse. 17 games, 1 goal. Okay. And that's evidence of. As far as I'm concerned. Omar wants Bellerin to go today. All right, quickly, guys. Get my attention before I get up out of here. Sam Greenwood, Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Sam Greenwood, I think, is pretty good. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, I've still not lost hope on him. Personally, maybe incorrectly, I've still not lost hope on him. Not yet. But just because you said it so many times, let me acknowledge it. Thank you. Thank you for the great show. Would you recommend as a successor to Bellerin? I've said this before, but I'll say this again. Max Aarons, yes. But actually, I quite like a kid called... who is that Derby right back, man? Jaden? Something like that. I think he's got good potential. And actually, would be cheap. 18 years old. You obviously probably need a Suarez as the more experienced option. So we might almost need to be forced into signing Suarez. But yeah, I'd probably do something like that. All right, 2 more minutes, guys, before I'm out of here. Chig, would you say that sentiment is one of the reasons we are where we are? It's absolutely one of the main reasons we are where we are. But it's actually sentiment. Excuse me. It's sentiment for our former manager. That is the main reason we are where we are. So yes, that is absolutely the case. Jaden Bogle, my guy. Thank you, Young C. Appreciate it, brother. That's the guy. That guy is good. Trust me. When he's signed by someone else, you'll see. Your youngest players play better. The first team, I say, give them a chance. I am all for promoting some. I'd promote Emil Smith Rowe. I'd promote Balogun. You guys know this. I will. Who are you arguing with, Chris? Because I agree. I would buy Edouard. So it can't be me you're arguing with. Oh, sorry, guys. All right, one more question. I'm out of here. One more question, guys. Please do stick a like on this video. One more question and I'm out. Give me a question. One more question. One more question. One more. Once again, please do stick a like on this video. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Follow me on Insta. I got a lot of people adding me recently, which is great from last night. Please keep that up. I'm trying to get my numbers up through that. And subscribe so that we can get to 8K sooner rather than later. Asian main announcers 22 though. So thoughts on Nelson. All right, let's finish on that. I was a big fan of Nelson. I had a lot of high hopes for Reece, particularly the way he started that Bundesliga season. He was on loan, and then I always wondered why he never kicked on. And then I watched the way he played at the start of the season, and then I was like, oh. Now I don't have so much hope for Reece. Say, for example, like I do with Balogun. Balogun, I'm certain, will kick on. This is where I'm answering two questions in one because I've just seen Chris put it. Balogun, I'm certain, will kick on and do something. For me, in terms of Reece, I'm not so certain. I've not completely dialed out on Reece, but my kind of interest in Reece is on life support at the moment. Sorry, it's not particularly a tasteless thing to say right now, but yeah, it's not where it needs to be. I'm not completely tapped out, but I'm not really on Reece like that. But we'll see what it is. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Please join me tomorrow. I'll do a show tomorrow. Also, look out for you Chick Flicks guys for the Last Stand review, and also the Combat Show guys. Make sure you check out the show on Friday night. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Take care. Peace.